Adam Mark and Michael, Third Gen Gamer. Do not say it's Heracross in the comments. I will literally remove your comment, Adam Mark and Third Gen Gamer. 322 days ago, I put in our Discord, ask me questions for a potential future podcast called the Mewtwo Podcast. And 322 days later, I'm finally making the podcast called the Mewtwo Podcast, where you guys give me questions and everything like that, and I will answer them honestly, truthfully. It can be about anything. Typically, how this is going to work is each and every single podcast, I'm going to try and get a guest star on there, whether it be Third Gen Gamer, aka Miguel the Son, but really Michael, other YouTubers. If you guys that want anyone specific, leave it in the comments down below, and I will try to get specific people on this podcast in the future. So this is going to be uploaded. I typically and originally wanted it uploaded every single Monday because Mewtube starts with an M. Monday starts with an M. However, since I'm taking Tuesdays off of streaming, this is going to be uploaded every single Tuesday. That way there is still content going up. This should, in theory, be done and uploaded on September 14th, 2021, which is tomorrow. I'm recording this on Monday the 13th. So, in theory, there should be one up every single Tuesday. So if you guys want any specific people on it, just let me know. By the way, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing webcam for all this or if it's just going to be voiceover. I'm not entirely sure, but I will try to let you know who the podcast guest will be for the next week in due time. And maybe I'll actually upload this on the 21st. That way I have some time to work with. So this will either actually be uploaded the 14th or the 21st. Not sure yet, depending on what my schedule is going to be, starting a new job. And I just want more content on the channel overall as a whole. But anyway, Adam Mark, I apologize. This was supposed to be up 3 months ago on June 4th. And you won the bet. So I gave you free whatever it was. But whatever it is, Adam Mark. Anyway, let's start answering all the questions. Not sure if I'm going to put them up on screen or not. But the first questions come from Zamaru-chan. It says, what is it like to keep up with a growing fan base? It's honestly not terrible. It's very enjoyable more than anything else, because the fact is we keep getting more people and new people as we stream more, as we upload more, as we do everything more often and more frequently. It's just an enjoyable ride. It's like life is like a box of chocolates, because you never know what you're gonna get. And that's true, because every day is a new journey and every stream is a new stream, and it's just enjoyable because for some streams you're going to get certain people there, and the next stream they might not be there, but other people that were not at the previous streams are going to be there. So it's just super enjoyable as a whole, and it's just really, really great. It's just an enjoyable experience. Next up we have Seish asking, if you could change any legendary and make it a regional variant, how would it look and what typing would it be found? Well, I don't know what it would look like necessarily, but I guess if I had to change any typings of any for any legendary Pokemon, oh gosh, I might have to do a rain check on that question, because I guess it would have to, well, we already did the, well, funnily enough, I think the legendary birds for Galar just come out, so I guess what we could do is make it like the legendary beasts or legendary dogs of Johto, like Entei, Suicune, and Raikou, give them regional variants, and I guess it'd be cool to have them be weak, or them the type of what they're weak to already. So Entei could be like, you know, rock, water, or ground, etc. And then Raikou could be ground, Suicune could be either electric or grass. I think it would be a really cool concept of just changing their types and stuff. I guess that's what that would be the answer to that question. And then he also asked a second question. Well, he asked three actually. I'll answer all three actually. He asked, what has surprised you the most about YouTube and the community you have built? I guess really nothing has. I guess the support, really, like the support everyone gives. And I'm not just talking donations, memberships, raids. I'm talking about just the wholesomeness of the community, like being so many people just being wholesome and interactive and showing up to streams and enjoying themselves and all of that fun stuff. I guess I didn't really realize like how much you can really reach people and like make an impact on their lives. Like honestly, it's kind of like an interesting concept, because when you're passionate about something, and Pokemon is like my biggest passion in life, or one of the biggest passions, obviously, because without playing Pokemon, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. If I never started to play Pokemon, like I wouldn't be talking to you guys right here and right now. So it's kind of cool having something I love so much and just an impact that's become. And honestly, a little bit after this, like a week later after I wanted you guys to ask the questions, I started doing Radical Red, and that really changed the landscape of our community. Because we got a lot of hardcore Nuzlockers coming in, and in May of 20... was it 2020? Yeah, I want to say May of 2020. I remember telling Sam that, by the way, if you guys are new here, obviously, that's my girlfriend. I just wanted to point that out. I'm like, hey, hardcore Nuzlocks are going to be a huge thing in the future. And she was kind of like, I don't know about that. And I'm like, and now, fast forward to today's day and age, September 13th, 2021, hardcore Nuzlocks are huge. Like, everyone's doing them, and it's just a really cool thing to see how much the community has changed and progressed and, you know, just improving themselves to be better Pokemon players. Because I really strive to be the most interactive person I can be, at the same time as being informative, trying to help you guys become better Nuzlockers, and it's just a really cool concept. And then Seisha's last question is, ever wanted to quit and move on? Yeah, honestly and genuinely, yes. So, there's been a lot of times, and there's been a lot of times where I started this channel, stopped, moved on, started new channels, stopped, move on, and eventually it just came full circle coming back to this channel. There's been a lot of ups and downs in my YouTube career, but I'm so thankful and happy with the decisions I've made throughout my entire life, because every decision I have made has led me to this point. Because if you think about it, when I stopped going to college in 2014, I didn't finish college. I got a few of my gen eds done. I didn't know what I wanted to fully do. Yes, there's some people that say, oh, you wanted to be an English professor, Derry. Okay. I did at one point. Wanted to be a journalist, sports journalist. Okay. But I never knew for sure. So I just didn't fully go and put my entire heart into it. YouTube's always just been a thing that I've wanted to do. I've been doing YouTube for over 11 years now, and it's just a huge impact on my life. And without me starting YouTube, I would have a very small fraction of the friends I have in my life right now. I wouldn't be dating Sam. I wouldn't be living in Pennsylvania. I'd still be in Wisconsin. I don't know where I would be in my current life, right here and right now, if I had never started YouTube back in 2010. My life would be completely different for the worst, I'd imagine. I don't know where my mindset would be. I don't know what I'd be doing. This has set me up for everything that I've gotten. This gosh darn silly, enjoyable, amazing job. And it's not necessarily a career right now, because I'm a full-time pharmacy technician as well. But everything has just led me to this point, and I'm so thankful for it. Next up, we have Bri asking the question, what was your motivation to start being a PokeTuber? Honestly, I kind of just saw people starting to upload and do Pokemon content. I'm like, well, I love Pokemon. I can do Pokemon content. And one of the first few people, there's 3 people I remember seeing right away when I started watching YouTube, kind of. And it was like 2008-ish area. Munching Orange, he was like less than 1,000 subscribers. Spirit of Steel, He does not upload anymore. And Clefable919. He does not also upload anymore. So those three were kind of pivotal. Obviously, you guys would more than likely, most of you guys know who Munching Orange is. And fun fact, if you guys didn't know, so not versus necessarily, but Munching Orange, I was in call with Munching Orange and his group and stuff. Clefable919, Spirit of Steel. There's a few other people in the group that I can't remember the names. But we would be in Skype. Yes, Skype, not Discord, Skype. And we would actually get in call and we would speedrun Pokemon. Who could beat the game first? We didn't upload or anything. We just did it for fun. And this is like probably summer of 2010-ish area. So it was before this channel even became in existence. So that's kind of cool. You guys probably didn't know that fact about me, that I actually kind of was friends with Munching Orange somewhat. Not too much. I actually remember in 2011, Munching Orange wished me a happy birthday, which is kind of cool. Like, it's weird, you know? But that's cool. I haven't talked to him really since. So Munching Orange, if you're out there, hello. I'm not sure if you remember me, but I remember you and I remember those days. But yeah, that's kind of the motivation and stuff. Caleb asked, is mayonnaise an instrument?
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument.
Caleb, I'm going to have you answer that question yourself, buddy. Zach asked, what is your favorite legendary and non-legendary Pokemon? The legendary Pokemon is actually really, really tough. Because do you count mythicals as legendary Pokemon or not? Because I always clump mythicals and legends together. Technically, you can separate them, but I clump them together because they have similar base stats, etc. So if I had to say legendary, it would be Manaphy. Manaphy is just ridiculously bulky. It has so many versatile sets it can run, and that's coming from a competitive standpoint. And plus, it's still really, really cute, and its aesthetic is awesome, and I love how you can breed it with a Ditto to make a feel. I just really like that aspect. And Tailglow is a busted move. Non-legendary Pokemon is 100% Zebstrika. Adamark and Michael, 3rd Gen Gamer, do not say it's Heracross in the comments. I will literally remove your comment, Adamark and 3rd Gen Gamer. I'm just telling you, but I love you guys. Anyway, it is definitely Zebstrika. Lucy, hi! Are you going to come on the podcast? Oh, hi, Lucy. Guys, it's my cat, Lucy. You're a really cute girl. Did you know that? Yeah. Did not realize we'd get a Lucy appearance on this podcast. I love you. Okay, bye-bye. Anyway, that's a good segue to the next question, asked by Face. What is your favorite Pokemon before Zebstrika? Heracross. Noah Cook asked, what are you doing tonight with the eyes emoji? I will be working out later tonight. I will be streaming, and I will be playing the new season of Fortnite. Yes, I play Fortnite sometimes. Don't critique me. It's okay, chat. It is okay. Alright. Sage has some more questions, actually. How did I get my YouTube name? I got my YouTube name from my actual name, Jacob. But it's not spelled J-A-C-U-B. It's actually spelled J-A-C-O-B. A lot of people just call it spelled Jacob with U, which is fine. But the reason why it's spelled U-B is because one of my real-life friends, who I've known a very long time, Alex, who I used to do videos with on this very channel, he just started calling me Cub. And it's kind of funny. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. So originally, when I had made a different channel, it was Jacob as always with an O. As always. And the reason for the as always part is because back in the day in like 2011, I always used to flick my finger and say, hello everyone, my name is Jacob as always. So that channel name kind of just stuck. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of how the YouTube name became a thing. It was originally Mr. Nintendo Fan Man, and I would be lying to you if I said I remembered how I came up with that name, but I don't. I genuinely don't. So Spirit Flame asks, what all video game franchises do I like? Well, funnily enough, a lot. My answers for some of these questions like have changed. Like if I would have done the podcast back at the end of last October, my questions and answers, like the answers would have changed for these questions, which is kind of weird if you think about it. So I really love the Zero Escape. So if you guys don't know what Zero Escape is, it's 999 VLR in ZTD. So 999 is 9 doors, 9 people's, 9 hours. Not in that order. I always screw up the order of that. VLR, Virtual's Last Reward, and ZTD, Zero Time Dilemma. So they're part of the Zero Escape franchise, and there's a lot of continuity between the game. It's just basically a Zero Escape game, and you make your decisions are changes the story element, basically. So the decisions you make changes what path you go down, and you have to try to get the right path to beat each game. And it's just a really well-woven story. It's just amazing, and I love the games a lot. Another series I really like is the Nier games. My girlfriend Sam and I have played Atatama. I am butchering that name pronunciation, by the way. I am awful. Like, okay, I'm very good at English, and I can mostly speak well, but sometimes I'm just really bad at pronouncing certain words. Like, pronouncing. Not really. But I'm just really bad at that sometimes. So honestly and genuinely, yeah, I just pronounce bad. And then Nier Replicant. Those two series are going to be near and dear to my heart. Also, I really, really, really love the Naruto Ultimate Storm games. I haven't played them fully, mostly because I am not done watching the anime, so no spoilers. If you spoil, I will literally remove your comment, and I'm not going to be very happy with you. I will tell you where I'm at. I am at episode like 190-ish of the series of Shippuden. So my girlfriend Sam and I have been watching. She already knows everything that happens and everything for the most part, so that's not going to be that bad. But obviously, if you say the fourth Hokage is Naruto's dad, not really a spoiler. Well, actually, they went over that in the show already anyway. But technically, it's obvious. And if you say Kiba becomes Hokage, well, come on now. Who else would become Hokage other than Kiba? Kiba's not becoming Hokage, by the way. Anyway, yeah, I really like those games a lot and everything like that. Zach has another question. What turn-based RPGs would you recommend to someone who enjoys games like Earthbound and Pokemon? I'm not gonna lie. I don't play a lot of RPG. I don't play a lot of other games other than Pokemon because I don't give myself the opportunity to do that. I do enjoy certain games, but I really don't get a lot of opportunity to play a lot of other games other than Pokemon. But the Kingdom Hearts franchise is really good. Oh, Nier is kind of like an RPG-based game. Not fully, but it has RPG elements where you can make your character better. So I would recommend Nier, I guess. Let's see. My girlfriend Sam asked, what is your favorite childhood memory? Honestly, I would have been 12 years old. It was December 28th, 2003. I was at the Packer-Bronco game that day with my dad. So basically, a little story behind it. The Packers had to win to get into the playoffs, and the Vikings had to lose to the 3-12 Cardinals for the Packers to get in the playoffs. The Packers took care of business, utterly destroyed the Broncos. And fun fact, a little side part on the Packers-Bronco game. So, the Packers were at their own 2-yard line. There's a lady behind me, and she was completely drunk. And she's like, yeah, Mon Green's going to get a 98-yard touchdown run right here. And we're like, no, he's not. A few seconds later, he did. And it was pretty funny. But anyway, back to the story. So the Cardinals had to beat the Vikings. And they're down 17-6 with like 3.5-4 minutes left. Cardinals drive down, get a touchdown with under 2 minutes to go. And I think they might have had one more timeout remaining, maybe somewhere around there. It might have been less than a minute too. But they get the onside kick. And they have to travel like, 60 yards in less than a minute or two. And it's 4th and like 20 from like the 30-yard line, and the Packers Broncos game was not over yet. We ended up winning 31-3, I believe. And the game stopped for like 5 minutes because this was before smartphones were a thing, so we couldn't get the score on our phone. We couldn't watch the game on our phone, so we're using binoculars, looking at which is really cool. We're using binoculars, looking at the press boxes to see the Broncos or to see the Cardinals Vikings game, and we're just on the edges of our seats and getting all excited, and we literally said, "Go Cards, go! Go Cards, go!" And genuinely, it's just so cool. It's just a real feeling. I can still remember this vividly in my head, and it's so cool to just be in that moment and have the game stopped and cheer for the Cardinals, and they won on the last second touchdown to Josh McCollum to Nate Poole, and that was just such an amazing feeling. The Packers won, the Vikings lost, we go to the playoffs, and then the infamous Matt Hasselbeck, "We want the ball, we're going to score," quote happened the very next week. That was just so cool, and then it was an amazing feeling, and that was probably my favorite childhood memory, or one of them. Garrett asks, what is one legendary Pokemon you hated facing in Link/ranked battles but would love to catch? I really don't know how to answer that question, because I don't really do ranked battles or Link battles, honestly, and I have like every Pokemon or can get any Pokemon. I guess I'll say the legendary Pokemon I hate going against the most probably is Mewtwo, because I have a Mewtwo. That's not why, but Mewtwo is just so versatile. It can be bulky. It's just so incredible. Xerneas is such an issue as well. Xerneas, besides like special forms, I would probably argue, besides like alternate curls, my Mega Rayquaza, the primals, I would argue that Xerneas is one of the strongest Pokemon ever created besides special forms. Because Fairies are really hard to switch into, and it gets Focus Blast for cover. Like, that Fairy Aura is literally insane. Nothing really wants to switch into it. You basically have to be a really specially defensive Steel type with like a Chople Berry. That's really bad. There aren't a lot of Pokemon that can really deal with Xerneas, and it's just so bulky. It's incredible. So Xerneas is probably one of the toughest things to face. Pyre asks, what is your favorite bagel? Now, I really feel like this question is based on my mood, honestly. So I really love blueberry bagels, but sometimes I like everything bagels or onion bagels. And now you guys are going to make fun of the way I say bagel in the comments. I already know there's going to be like plenty of comments to be like, Jacob said bagel wrong. What a noob. And you guys probably going to do that now that I said that, especially. So, hey, it's good for the YouTube algorithm. Strips_0 says and asks, alright, I can crack out some questions. Starting as a group channel with Alex and now going solo, how did you find the working dynamic to having to be reliant on another person for split screens? Who had the responsibility of editing? Were there any hardships to coordinate with another person? Then I'm going to break it up into his other questions. How is it being independent now? How is streaming for content compared to pre-recorded? And then he says, seeing you grow as a fan, I've enjoyed your openness for building a community in later years, including me as a dumb fan to now friend, when the realization kicked in for you to become more of a community-based creator. Or when did the realization kick in for you to become more of a community-based creator? So I'm going to break this up. This is a really, really good question. I'm really glad we saved it for last. So anyway, this is a great question. So starting with a group channel with Alex, how did the working dynamic was really good. So if you guys didn't know, Alex and I were friends when you were about, so he's like a year younger than me. So when I was like 11, he was like 10, we were friends back then, and we hung out, did some nerdy stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon back in the day. And then I went to middle school, so I was in 6th grade, he would have been in 5th grade, so he would have been in elementary, and I went to middle school. So then we kind of drifted apart for about 7-ish years, give or take, 7-8 years, something like that. So I graduated high school in 2010, and I had started the YouTube channel in 2010, and in like February of 2011, somewhere around there, maybe late January, I saw, because him and I were still friends on Facebook and stuff, I saw that he had posted to Facebook saying, hey, or he's like showed off his videos from. I'm like, hey, I do YouTube videos too. And essentially what happened is, like, we started talking, and, you know, we're like, hey, you want to hang out sometime? And we both kind of came up with the idea of split screen. So if you guys didn't know, okay, how do I put this without coming off as brash or arrogant or anything? So before Versus and Soul Links and all of that were a big thing, it was split screen. In March of 2011, my friend Alex and I literally, like, started doing this. And they were like, we had the idea for like a couple weeks. We wanted to put it into like everything perfectly. And so we started doing it with the original games. Our Black and White had just, Gen 5 had just came out in America in like early March, like March 6th or something. So him and I had the idea, hey, we're just going to do this. We're going to literally take whatever equipment we have to record, and we're going to do this. So we kind of had the idea, we wanted to do something together, something nobody had ever done before, and we came up with split screen. And literally, we had, our microphone was nothing good back then. It was literally a really crappy microphone taped to the bottle of a syrup bottle. Syrup bottle taped microphone. So whenever someone says they don't have the equipment to start, well, while I understand nowadays you kind of have to have pretty good equipment and you have to have a solid foundation to start to a degree, that's not entirely true. You just got to work with what money you have, with what things you have, and just go for it and let your passions take over. Like, if you're so passionate about something and you love something so much, you will eventually find success. You will eventually have an audience, and you just keep going at it. If you love something so much, people will find you, and people will find your passion. And you always got to remember, things happen for a reason. They'll happen at the right time. You can't push your envelope. You can't push yourself too much sometimes. Sometimes, while it's good to advertise, sometimes you have to let things develop the way they're supposed to develop into the thing, and just like relationships or friendships. You can't really force friendships or force or like you. While it's good to ask, for basically what I'm trying to say, it's while it's good to ask someone to, you know, do a series together, what would really be good is to develop friendships and connections first, and just slowly let it happen and develop. Because, like, you never know if you're going to have a connection with someone on camera. Like, for example, the perfect example is Michael and I. So, we have really good chemistry. Our banter is phenomenal. Our friendship is great. And it all comes from the heart, too, because we genuinely care about one another. We really love each other as friends. So us being super good friends right away is awesome. And that's what happened to our that's why we mix so well on camera, because our banter, the way we're able to banter with each other is just phenomenal, and it's one of a kind, honestly. So yeah, like, I would say that yeah, no, that's basically... Okay, I am getting sidetracked a little bit. The working dynamic between Alex and I was really good. So we both kind of edited some. For the most part, I edited the split screen a lot of the time, because what had happened is, like, for Ruby and Sapphire especially, that's really where everything took off for us, because if you guys didn't know, Chugga Conroy was doing Pokemon Emerald in early 2012, and I still remember this day like it was yesterday. So it was early 2012, and we had done Ruby Sapphire for a couple months at the point. We knew because we went to different colleges, so we couldn't record whenever we wanted to. So we had to bulk record all of the Ruby Sapphire series. We had just gotten done bulk recording. It was the day before I was leaving for my first ever semester of college in January of 2012. And yeah, so I remember it. I was like packing up. I was refreshing on my laptop, and all of a sudden I was like, we're going up like 100 subscribers in like an hour. I'm like, Alex, refresh your... I called him like, Alex, refresh your page. Look at YouTube. And all of a sudden, we had just gotten to 2,000 subscribers in January of 2012. And this was before streaming on YouTube. This was before the algorithm was completely and utterly different back then. So we went from 2,000 subscribers in January of 2012 to about 5,000 in a month. So our minds were boggled, and like it was just insane. So back then too, you didn't really have monetization. You had to partner through like a network like Machinima, TGN, I can't remember other ones, but there are these networks that you partnered with, so you didn't get nearly as much. So nowadays you get monetized through YouTube, you unlock all this stuff now. Back then it was a lot different. So you would get 50% of the revenue, and then the partner like Machinima, TGN, they would get 50%. So YouTube takes 30 and you get 70. So creators nowadays really get a lot more money back that comparative to what they were doing back then. Because YouTube wasn't, it was like, so YouTube's been around for like, what, 16 years? So that was like 9 years ago or something. Yeah, so really, YouTube's grown a lot since then, and it's become a better network, I would say, and a better website. So realistically, it was interesting. It was super interesting back then. That was a huge thing. We over doubled it was 2.5 times the subscriber count in like a month. And we were just like blown away. So it was a chaotic time, that's for sure. Were there any hardships to coordinate with another person? Kind of. It really depends like how busy we were, and honestly, what had happened in the summer of 2012. We had like big ideas. Black and White 2 was right around the corner. We had all these ideas. We had started a Nuzlocke of the Japanese version of Black and White 2 because we didn't want to wait till October. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Hit. So in the summer of 2012, a lot of stuff changed. So we didn't really stay consistent the way we were supposed to. And it was just a hard time. Like, we played so much Yu-Gi-Oh! Back then, I'm just going to be completely blunt and honest. Like, off the ad revenue alone back then, it was ridiculous. We were getting, for a couple of college kids, we were getting a few $100s, like, each kind of, back in the day. That's a lot of money for, like, a couple of college kids. So, hey, we didn't invest into better equipment. No. We invested incorrectly. We invested in the Yu-Gi-Oh! And that was, while back in the day, that was great because we had enjoyed it and it was a great time. We really should have taken it a little more seriously than we did. However, I want to get to the back of the point that I was talking about earlier, how everything kind of happens for a reason and the way they're supposed to happen. So, basically, had I stayed consistent then, my life would be different now. And it's kind of a cool concept, because if we stay consistent then, I wouldn't be friends with a lot of the people I'm still friends with. And I wouldn't trade those friendships, and I wouldn't change the fact that I'm dating Sam and here in Pennsylvania at all, honestly. I really love how my life has turned out, and I'm really thankful. Plus, like, it gave me the opportunity to say, hey, you have this money, spend it properly. I really learned the concept of money handling and managing money as like a 20-year-old, and yeah, that was a hard concept to grasp too. But it really did teach me a lot, because sometimes in life you just have to go through stuff yourself, because people can, the one who my dad always taught me growing up, and he still tells me this: listen to the people with experience. Well, obviously I didn't really do that, but sometimes in life you just have to go through stuff yourself in order to figure things out. It's just a hard concept to understand sometimes, but yeah. Now we ask, how is it being independent now? How is it different? And how is streaming content compared to pre-recorded? So being independent now is kind of good, because whatever you want to do, you can just do. You don't really have to correlate with anyone. You just kind of do whatever series you want to do. Like, recently we've had so many different streaming series going on, and now since starting a full-time job and everything, I'm really just going to concentrate on Emerald Kaizo, because I want to be the first person to hardcore Nuzlocke Emerald Kaizo without documentation, because I really pride myself in not using documentation. We beat Renegade Platinum, Blaze Black, and Radical Red without documentation in the hardcore Nuzlocks. And we're going to beat Kaizo eventually. It might take us 151 attempts to beat. But, you know, it might take us less or even more. But that's okay, because we're going to enjoy the ride, because that thrill of beating Radical Red was like no other in beating a hardcore Nuzlocke, and I don't know if it's ever going to be matched, but it's going to be a fun time. Kaizo's great, but yeah, I really love being an independent person for the streaming and recording now. How's streaming content compared to pre-recorded? Honestly, it's kind of cool, because pre-recorded is kind of like, you want to like put these edits, and the pace has to be different. Streaming like live, you just have to be your chaotic, crazy self, and that's kind of what I pride myself in. I'm a very authentic guy. I'm not gonna hide who I am. I love being myself, and if you don't like me, that's fine. You don't have to like my funniness, what I find funny. Yeah, that's okay. We don't have to mesh that well, but I'm still gonna be myself, my genuine, normal, quote unquote, on the normal part, self. But you know what? I just really pride myself in it, and I do like it. I think both has its. I think both are pretty cool to do. Pre-recorded's fun because you can do fancy edits and a lot of fun stuff. And then live series is just fun because we get to interact with you guys, the viewers, and streams and mods. And the banter between the mods and everything is just amazing, and I love it. He says, seeing you grow as a creator, as a fan, I've enjoyed your openness for building community in the later years, including me as a dumb fan and now. When came the realization kick in for you to become more of a community-based creator? Honestly, probably when I came back to streaming in 2019. So obviously, I talked about earlier before even this question from Strips. Essentially, I jumped to channels. I stopped, recorded. There's just a lot of chaoticness going on obviously. But in 2019, I decided I'm going to stick to this channel. The old Mr. Nintendo Fan Man turned to Jacob as always, and I am going to stick to it. And that is exactly what I did. I stuck to it. I've been super consistent for the most part. I've usually streamed it's almost been 2 years since I started streaming again. And it's just incredible. Like, 2 years ago, I did not think we'd have the community that we have. I didn't know we'd have the same, I didn't know we'd have as many mods. And I've gained a lot of new friendships that I really, really appreciate. And it's just an incredible feeling being such a community-driven creator. Because without you guys, I genuinely believe there's no channel. It's just like a TV show or a movie or anything. Without the viewers being there and interacting, I'm talking to myself. It's just like right now, I'm talking to myself, but you guys hopefully are going to watch this. And I know Adam Mark's going to watch this because he's been on my butt for almost a year. When is the YouTube podcast coming in? Anyway, the YouTube podcast is here. Did I say the YouTube podcast? The Mewtwo Podcast, because Mew is a Pokemon. It's funny that way. Trust me, it is a funny pun, and you guys hopefully will appreciate that. But yeah, when is the Mewtwo Podcast? It's finally here, and it's not going away anytime soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, Substrike Army, my name has been Jacob as always, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in to this first ever Mewtube podcast, and it's been amazing. I hopefully will do some cuts in this, and it'll be great. I've been recording. I got this in one take, so I'm frickin' proud of myself, and I'm gonna leave that in because it's a funny blooper, JK, but what if. Love you all. Make sure you guys leave a comment, leave a like. Let me know who else you want to be in the podcast in the future. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day. I love you all. Peace.